In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create an interactive roadmap using the Hotspot widget in Elementor Pro. Now, this is what we're going to be creating. As you can see here, we have an interactive roadmap that has these pulsing pins. Whenever I hover over these, we have this nice text animation that pops out for every single pin here. Now, this is going to make your website a lot more engaging and keep visitors a lot longer on your website, which is really good for SEO. So this is completely mobile optimized, so it's going to look great on any device. You shouldn't have a problem with that. If you do end up finding this video helpful, make sure to like it for the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's go ahead and begin here. Open up your Elementor editor. I'm using an Elementor template, and the one that I'm using, in case you are curious, I'm just using this one here. It's a doctor's online consultation, just so you guys know. And I'm going to kind of go with the style that they have here to build out the roadmap. So before we go ahead and actually start building on here, let's go ahead and grab the roadmap graphic. And where I actually found that was on Canva. So go to Canva, create an account if you don't have one, it's completely free. Go into templates, from home, go into templates, and then go ahead and search for roadmaps. And we're going to be using one of the free roadmaps here, and it's going to be this one here. So go ahead and click into it and customize this template. Just click on that. And this is what we're going to be using, mainly just the bullet point and the road here. So let's duplicate this one. Just click here, duplicate it. We can remove all of this. We don't need any of that. You can even just click on these individually in case you can't get to it, but you can move this above here and then just go ahead and highlight that. Set this to the center, and just about anywhere in the center is fine. We're going to go ahead and crop this later on WordPress. So now let's go ahead and click share, and let's hit download. We only want to download the second page. So go ahead and download that. We want to set this to a JPEG. That's important. And the quality is fine. Everything else is fine. And we can just hit download. Okay, that will download that to our computer. The other thing that we want to do is download one of these map pins here. I'm only going to be using this color, the blue, but we are going to need to remove the background. If you have Canva Pro, then you don't need to do this part. But for those of you that don't have Canva Pro, just like myself, you can follow along. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this map pin here. You can also change the color just by clicking here and then just adding a different color. You can even add the hex code in here. So go ahead and right click it and click download selection, and then make sure it's a PNG. If you do have Canva Pro, you can skip this step. Click on here for those that have Canva Pro and click SVG, and then remove the background. Click transparent background. But for us that don't, you can do PNG and hit save, and then download. Okay, so download that. Now we need to go ahead and go into we need to remove the background. I'm going to be using adobe.com to remove the background. I have a link to this in the description. It's completely free. There's also a bunch of other websites that remove the background for you. So I'm going to hit upload. I'm going to choose the image here. I was testing this out earlier, but let me grab the right one just to show you guys an example here. So this is the one we're going to be using. Okay, and there you go. It removes it, and then just hit download, and that will download that to your computer. It will also open up Adobe Express. Just exit out of that tab. No need for that. And then we're going to go to another website, and png to svg.com, and we're going to go ahead and scroll down and then select the image that we downloaded, which is this one here. Wait, sorry, that's not it. It's going to be this one, the one that doesn't have a background. Click open, and then right here you're going to hit generate, and I'll link these two in the description, and then just hit download SVG. There we go. Okay, now that we have our resources downloaded, we can build out the map. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to be adding it here to this template. So go ahead and add a container, hit the plus there, and then hit Flexbox. That's what we're going to be using. We're going to do a column direction down, and then have that just like this. We're going to go into our elements. We're going to search for Hotspot. Now you do have to have Elementor Pro to use the Hotspot widget. So go ahead and drag and drop it, and then go into your images and choose the image here. Just drag and drop it. But for this example, let me go ahead and use the one that I ended up getting. I believe it should be in one of these here. So let me just get the JPEG here, just so you guys can follow along. So download it, upload it here, and then hit edit image. Go to crop. Go ahead and bring this down here because we don't need that much spacing for it. Something like this should be fine. Hit apply crop. Save edits. It's very important or else it won't save. And then go ahead and select. There we go. Now we will see this cut off here. Go into style and set this to 100% for the width. Just like that. Now let's go into content. Go into hotspot. We want to go ahead and add one of our pins. So let's click here on the upload SVG inside this first item. Click upload and then choose your pin. I already have one, but for this example, I will choose the one that I also grabbed too. And then we'll upload it. Select it. There we go. It's going to be really small. We can't really see it. Doesn't look the best, right? So let's go into style here. Let's go into hotspot. And let's adjust the size of this. The background, we can possibly leave it. But before we do that, let's set the radius to 100 here. And then I want to go ahead and use a similar color to this. So I'm going to grab my color picker extension here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this color, see if I can grab it. Give me one sec here. So for the web, and I'm going to pick that, and we're going to grab this blue here. And we're going to use the same blue. As you can see there, the blue, for those of you guys wondering, is, in case you are following along, is 0CB1. I believe that's an F, and then 3. Okay. So grab that color. Actually, we need to put it in here. That actually should be for the box color. Okay. Now, clearly that doesn't look the best. But we're going to go ahead and just bring down the opacity so it's something like this and it still kind of glows, right? There you go. Oops. We don't want the minimum height to be, really we don't want it to have anything. So just leave this blank. There it is. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Maybe we can bring it a little lower. There we go. Okay. That's fine. So that all looks good. Let's go ahead and position this now, and this is a good size. Maybe we want something a little bit bigger. Maybe something like this will be good. Okay. Let's go into content. Let's go into hotspots. And the item 1, we want to go into position and position this. But before we do this, let's go ahead and view where it's positioned on our map. So we can see that it's right here. Let's go back and let's position this horizontally here. And then vertically. So we can see that it's about this size. We might need to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to close out this tab because I'm not using it anymore. But I think that's pretty good. Now you can remove this little blue glow if you want. You don't have to have that. That is optional. We may remove it, but we may also leave it. So I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to go back to style, and the hotspot, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. I think that will be pretty good. Maybe about 100, just so that we leave that at something there, right? 100 should be fine. So let's go back to position. Let's move this a little bit on top. There we go. The other thing that I want to do is I want to have this move. So we're gonna do, we want it to kind of pulse, just like this, you see? A soft beat. So that looks good. But that means that we don't really need that animation effect, really. Maybe we don't need this blue here. I'm still debating whether to have that, but I think I'm just gonna remove it. But it's up to you if you want to leave it. I'm just gonna go ahead and completely remove it there. Okay, that looks fine. Currently we have to click on this to be able to see it. I want to be able to hover over it. So let's go back into content, tooltip. We want this to be on hover. The trigger should be on hover, and we want it to go ahead and fade by direction. And the direction that we want it to fade, currently it's to the bottom. So whenever we hover, we see that it's to the bottom, but I want it to come out from the right. And see, that's how it comes out. So that looks fine. We just need to change the color. But before we do that, let's add some text into that box. Let's go into our item 1. And we're just going to grab here what is being shown. So I'm just going to do this here. Option 1. And then option 2. But I kind of want this to be a H2. So let's make this into an H2. So it's at least a little bit bigger. We'll adjust the size of that later on with some custom CSS. So that looks fine for now. I just want to change the background of this box here. So let's go into style, the tooltip, and this is the color of the background here that we want to change. Now I'm going to be using the style of the website here, so I'm going to grab this blue, but feel free to use any other color, anything that goes with your website. So the tooltip, I'm going to change this here to that blue. There we go. I kind of want to have some rounded edges, so I'm going to do 10 for the border radius. There we go. Now that looks pretty nice, in my opinion. Okay. Now from here, we want to go ahead and add more pins to the roadmap. So let's go back to content, hotspot. And the cool part now is we can just duplicate these. 1, 3, 4. So we want to have 4 of them. Now I'm going to go and look at my roadmap. You can see that there's one here, and one here. So I'm going to go ahead and position these now. I'm going to click on my second one. And then I'm going to move it to the right here. And then I'm going to bring it down. Okay. There we can see we have that there, and that's great. Now we need to do the same thing for the third one. We're going to go ahead and move this to the right. And I want to go ahead and position this to the middle. Just like so. Maybe something like this. That's great. Now let's do the same thing for the fourth one. Go into the item 4. Bring it over here. And then bring it down. There we go. Now, I can change the text, but I'm just not going to. All I'm going to do is do option 2, option 3, option 4, and you kind of get the gist of it. You guys can adjust the text however you guys would like. Just to kind of speed up this video, I'm not going to go and adjust the text there, but I will change the font size according to the device. But before we go and work on the responsiveness of this, I want to go ahead and add some text here. So the way we can do it is, let's go ahead and add a container above it. And then let's add a flex box. Direction down. And I'm going to grab, we can grab one of these titles. I'm going to grab one of these titles. You can just paste your title that you have and adjust it. So just drag and drop a text heading. That's totally fine. And then work with that. So from there, once you're on your text heading, go into advanced. We want to go into, honestly, you really don't need to go to inline. You can just click on the main container here and then just shift this to the end. There we go. Now click on your heading here, go into advanced, and then go ahead and unselect this. And then from the bottom, we want to do a negative, and we want to bring it just like this, but we want to keep the Z index to 1, so it's right above there. Now there is going to be a problem here with it not being inside, and we're going to have to adjust that a bit here. So let's go ahead and, you know what, before we do that, let's add a border to this and a shadow, so then we can really see it inside the box. So we'll come back to that here really quick. So I'm going to be using the same style that we're using for this box here, the shadow and then the border there. So I'm going to go into the style there, and you can just follow along. I'm going to be using this color here. It's C4CBDB. And so grab that border color if you want to follow along. Go into style there. And then we're going to do solid here. We're going to leave this to 1. And then we're going to go ahead and paste that in here. And we're going to make the border radius 20. You can see there, that looks nice. Now we will fix this issue here because the text is clearly not inside the map. But I want to go ahead and add a shadow to this as well. So I'm going to grab what they're using here, go to border. I'm going to go into their color here. I'm going to copy what they have. And realistically, you can just choose this color here. It goes to blue, and then this color here, and then just bring it down to about this. And I think that will get you the same color. Now we have -10, 32, and 54. Okay. So let's go back in here. Let's go into our border radius there, our box shadow, sorry, paste that in there. So I think it was -10, 32, and I believe 54. Let's just double check I am correct. Yep, 54. Okay, so now we have this looking pretty good. We just need to go ahead and fit the text in here. So let's go back and select the heading here. Hopefully you can select that. If not, you'll have to use a navigator. If you don't know how to pull up your navigator, on the bottom left here, just click on this little stacked icon here, navigator, and then that'll pull that up. So then from here, we want to go ahead and I believe we can go ahead and, oops, we don't want that, sorry. Go ahead and leave this at 0, unselect this, and then go ahead and do about, from the top, we can do about maybe 50, and then from the right, we can do 30. There we go. You can see that's totally fine, and that works. We may need to do, maybe from the top, we can do 40 or something. There we go. Okay. And for this, we can call this, we don't need to call it goodbye or anything. We can say roadmap. You can say try this out. Okay, just like that. That's fine. Okay, so I think now that we have that ready and set, we can go ahead and start to work on the tablet version. So let's click on the tablet version here. Actually, before that, really important, on your main section here, go into the main container holding the hotspot. Click on that, go into there, and on your padding, let's go ahead and do 20 from the right and 20 from the left. Okay, that part is important. You definitely want to do that. Okay, so you can see here that our pins here, our hotspots, are pretty large. We don't need them to be that large. And we kind of have an issue with that there. So we're going to have to make some adjustments. So what we want to do is adjust our pins. So let's go into, let's click on our hotspot. Let's go into the hotspot and let's adjust the sizing of these. I think something like that will work. Okay. And then maybe we can even adjust this here while we're here. we will adjust this a bit. Let's just leave it at about like this, maybe. That should be good. Let's see how it looks if we expand it. Okay, so it still looks fine. Nothing wrong with that. This looks good. This looks good. We do have a problem with it coming out, with it being cropped off like that. But what you can do, if you want to avoid that, we may need to just load it from the bottom. So what we'll do is click on your hotspot, go into content, tooltip, and the position of the tooltip, we want it toward the bottom here. So have it at the bottom, just like this. You see now it all fits perfectly except for this that's getting cut off. So what I usually do is I'll move this pin here a bit. So go into the hotspot. It's the first one here, right? So let's click on this, go to positioning, and let's move this about maybe like right here. Okay, you see now it fits. It's perfect. You may have that. You may also have this problem where when something gets expanded, they move up a little bit. You'll just have to adjust it. And what I do is I bring them down a bit, honestly. Bring them down just to fit right there. I'll do the same thing for the rest of them. Because regardless, whenever they shrink, they will go ahead and get closer to the road anyway, which works as well. So you can leave them like this where they just barely touch the road. I think that right there, let me make sure I touch the last one here. Will work. There we go. So now you can see that that still works as well. Okay, so we've adjusted this and that looks good. Now let's go to mobile, which is a little bit of the more difficult part. So first things first, we have some spacing issues with this. Not to worry, let's just click on this one here. And I'm going to go ahead and probably do like 100 from the top or something. Probably let's do 140, right? So that is good there. The only problem is that the text, I kind of don't like that it's up there. So we're going to just have it on top. So click on the heading here. We're going to remove all of this stuff. We don't need that. And make sure you click on the container holding that heading. And let's go ahead and position this to the center instead, right? There we go. So that will work. You can adjust that. You can adjust the text however you would like. But I'm going to leave the font size how it is. I'm going to click on, you know what, while I'm here on my heading, I'm going to go to advanced and I'm going to give this some padding at the bottom so we can at least have some spacing under that. Maybe not too much, maybe like 40 or something would be fine. There we go. So we have this issue here now where the pins, the hotspots are really big. So let's go ahead and just shrink them and let's start with that. So let's click on my hotspot. Let's go into style, hotspots, and let's shrink them and let's see what we can do there. So we can see that we can have them somewhat like this, which does work, but let's just see when we expand them. You see that we have a little bit of an issue and they look really small. So what we'll have to do is maybe adjust that, go into the content hotspot, and we'll have to go into every individual one and adjust the positioning. Go to the position here and we'll make sure that this is over here as is, and then we'll just barely touch it. Do the same thing, barely touch it, hopefully. It does look like it's touching it, so you know what? I don't think we need to adjust these too much. So I think this is, most people will not probably be at this, will have a screen this small anyway, so you don't really need to worry about that. I think this is good how it is. We just now need to focus on getting the boxes to fit, right? Look at this. This is not going to work. So I have some CSS that I'm going to paste in here that you can use. And in that CSS, we're going to be targeting the H2s and the P tags within this box here, because the title here is an H2 and the text here should be the P tag. So let's go into advanced on the hotspot and go into custom CSS. And then let's just paste that in, right? So now you're going to see that it's going to all fit perfectly. And it is in this box here. I think this works regardless. It is a little bit small, but I think it's going to be the best solution to have it work. But you can adjust your font size. And you know what? This does affect it on You know what? You probably don't need to do this on tablet. So I'm gonna probably just bring this up here because I don't want to affect it either on desktop either. So I'm gonna bring it and put it in here, and that should be all fine. Now this, if you want to adjust the heading, heading size, you can do it here. So I can set this to 25, and that will adjust it on tablet there. So anything below 1024 pixels will have this heading, and then anything below 767 pixels will have this font size heading there, which is 18. But we're working on mobile right now, so that's how I did it, and that's what works for me. So yeah, I probably wouldn't fill these boxes too much with text. What you could also do is make the text really small. That can work too. That is a possibility that you could do. You can go into the I believe it's right here, the tooltip, and then you can adjust the font size of that. I don't know if it will adjust there, but okay, so it does adjust. As you can see, you can adjust the text there and have it work like that. I think that looks nice anyway. You're not going to get anything really better than this. So I think that works there. Now, if you don't want to have that wrap that I have, you can also just remove this part if you don't want that, but you're going to have issues with it not fitting. So you may need to position these. That's why it's, yeah, not really the best to do it like that. So that's why it's better just to adjust this and do it this way. Okay. Then that is, I believe, it for this video. If you did find it helpful, make sure to like it for the YouTube algorithm. And if you have subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos. If you have any questions, just comment down below and I'll try to help you guys out. Thanks for watching.